So I believe we are live now. Let me just double check all our channels. Live on YouTube, just in case. And live on LinkedIn as well. That is brilliant. Hello. Good afternoon to the people in UK. If my friends are watching from UK, because we do have some loyal audience sitting there. And if you are in Bahrain, it's 6:31. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you are in Pakistan, because I'm from Pakistan, so thank you so much for joining us. And I know it's 8:31 there. So I'm just going to give you one more minute to say hello to me, everyone, because I want to see how many people are already online. And saying hello wouldn't hurt. So go on, please say hello, say hi, so I can count the numbers. And the ones who always stay quiet, please come forward. We really need you on the screen. 1 minute. Let me just quickly okay, so I think we are starting because we do have our friends joining us already. I can see them saying hello to me. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you. Hello, good evening, everyone. Okay. You can confirm if you can hear us loud and clear. That would be great. Right. So good evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. And thank you so much for joining us this evening. You know, leadership feels very impressive. We look at the title and we say, wow, this person is a leader of a school or a leader of a company or a leader of a business. It looks impressive. It feels impressive when everything is working, when systems are stable, when plans are clear, when outcomes are predictable. But that's not where leadership is defined. It is defined when something shifts and suddenly the way you operate changes, the way you communicate changes, the way people rely on you, that changes. And there is no memo, there is no warning, just expectation. Expectation that a leader will know what to do next. Welcome to Unboxed with SG, where we don't admire leadership, we do admire, but not only admiration, we actually examine it. And tonight we're not talking about leadership in ideal conditions. We are talking about leadership when things are moving in real time. And you don't get the luxury of slowing down. And for that conversation, I am joined by someone who understands both structure and what happens when structure is tested. Mr. Medhat Merabi, an experienced school leader, very well known in Bahrain, and someone who understands how systems, people, and technology intersect when things need to adapt quickly. Mr. Medhat, welcome to Unboxed with SG. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Hart, for inviting me. I know that we've been trying to organize this meeting for quite a long time, and finally it's happening. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Medhat. Pleasure is all mine. Let's not ease into this because I think a lot of leaders right now are not in planning mode. They are in response mode. I want to talk about the first move. Let's go straight to the moment this changes. Not theory, not frameworks, that exact moment where you realize this is not business as usual anymore. So, in your experience, what is the first real move a leader should make when the time gets difficult?
Uh, you know, this is not the first time we are let's say, adverse circumstances. We had COVID-19
Correct.
earlier, and we have learned a lot that time. So now, when we anticipated or when we had the, 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 the idea that, okay, something could be happening, we started to plan earlier.
Mm.
So it's very important for, like, to answer your question, the first step is clear communication with everyone. So you have to start with clear and transparent communication with your team, with your community members, so that everyone knows where you stand and what are your plans. Uh, and these plans are not they are not they don't get built at the same moment. Like,
Mm.
every school should be planning ahead of time. Even if we don't know that there is a war will happen, or there is like a health or medical problem will happen, at the beginning of every year, each school should be having a plan B in case anything wrong happens. And this is what we learned from COVID.
Mm.
So for us as leaders, I believe our top priority is to communicate and to make sure that we stay visible, and that this transparent communication and staying visible will build the trust between us and the community that we are working for. So this is what is the first step that we have always to accomplish, making sure that we are all on the same level of understanding before taking an action.
That is absolutely, you know, believable, because obviously the communication is the first thing that any leader would think of. But the speed is also very, very important, because as soon as something happens, it goes on social media these days. Before even leaders get to see the in details or information, everybody in the country or everybody in the society, they already know about it because of the social media. So the speed matters, but so does the clarity as well. And the wrong message at the right time can create more instability than silence. So how do you personally decide when to speak and when to hold back, or when to speak and what to hold back? How do you come to that decision?
Um, I'm gonna start from the second part of the question, is actually how to know when to hold back.
Mm.
Um, you know, when you are in the planning process, when you are like in a reaction mode, you need to be very careful what you say and when to say it. If I understand your question correctly, this is what you're asking for. So what to say and when to say it. Um, when to say it, never say anything before you have a clear understanding and clear agreement between you and your team. Because at the end of the day, this is not a one-man show. It's not a one person know it all. So you have to sit with your teams, discuss, plan, put plans together, and when you have clarity and a collective understanding and collective agreement between you and the school leadership, at that moment you can talk, you can say what you have, and present what you have to the community. So, and going from there, when you have this clarity, the communication part will start. So at that moment, you can say, okay, my school community or my country community, this is the plans of this school, or this is the plans of this company, let us say, and this is how we are going to react to this crisis or this adverse circumstance. So don't uh, react directly, while actually take your time, plan carefully. Even maybe the community will be a bit upset. Oh, why we're not hearing from them? Oh, why we're not getting any updates from them? The social media, as you said, has it all, and everyone is there talking about it. I prefer with my team to sit, reflect, get a proper response, then respond, instead of like, oh yeah, let us ride the wave and give answers to people where we cannot commit to later.
Mm.
So it's better to be prepared, ready, so that even when your community and when your teachers, your school admin, your students, your parents, your stakeholders will all, when they have questions, you have answers.
Correct.
Otherwise, you will be running in one way direction and keeping your back, there. So you cannot support any of the decisions that we took. So that's why it's very important for us to plan carefully, take our time, even if it takes a little bit more of the expected time, but come up with a resolution that's actually supportive to everyone in the group.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's talk about operational shifts when things go critical, when situation gets difficult. Because when the external environment changes, schools don't pause, they adapt. And often, very quickly, they have to adapt. Different modes of learning, different expectations, different levels of involvements from parents. And what I find interesting is this is where leadership either becomes very clear or very confused. What are the biggest mistakes leaders make in this phase?
Um, as I said earlier when I started, so this is again, it's an advice to every school leader, especially the ones who are actually, they are having to be part of of what we are in right now in the world. For example, for the first time, or like in a certain circumstance for the first time, it's very important for them to know that planning is the key. Since the beginning of the year, you make sure that, okay, all my technology requirements are ready for anything that could happen. All my infrastructure is ready. My students are ready. They get the right practices in classes and throughout their afternoon even, so that everyone is ready to shift to from a normal school, for example, to a online learning. The
Correct.
shift was very simple and very easy, just because we were ready, we were planning ahead of time. When I would also reflect on an example about Bahrain Bayan School, for example, because this is the place that I spent most of my experience. I
Mm.
spent 18 years there at Bahrain Bayan School. When COVID hit us a few years back, the ministry announced Wednesday that the government announced Wednesday that we are all going online.
Mm.
Thursday we were live on our classes, and that was because we were planning. Our infrastructure was ready, our equipment was ready, teachers were ready, students were ready. So the whole community was ready and was aware of our plans. That, okay, we are as a school clear about expectations from our administrative team and our stakeholders.
Mm.
So that was an example where if you plan and prepare yourself, you would be shifting in even in not in one day or in hours, to shift from one learning form to another. And this is, I've seen it now in many schools in Bahrain. They all adapted, like the second day where schools where the war started. The second day, everyone was ready to go online and support their community. So planning is the key, and the most important part of all of that is that you, as a leader, should have a team around you, a team that is actually you understand and they understand you. You have a common understanding, common belief. Not everyone in your team has to always say yes or yeah, I agree with you. This is not what we're looking for or what we're talking about.
Mm.
What we're talking about, we have a team that supports you and and believes in the school mission and the school vision, and they are ready to ride the ship with you and actually to help you sail with the ship to the right direction.
I think we can't hear you anymore.
Can you
You
hear me now?
sorry, yeah, we can hear you now. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, Mr. Medhat. You mentioned about the team, and I know one of your team member already. I did actually have her on my podcast a few months ago. I think 2 months ago, and I know I've met her before as well for another meeting, and I know you're blessed. I mean, you, mashallah, have a very good team with you. And that actually makes a lot of difference. That can actually make and break the systems, especially in the time of difficulty. So I would certainly, commend or say exactly what you said, agree with you about your team, because the team is very, very important. It plays a fundamental role, especially during these kind of situations.
And
Um,
sorry if I can also elaborate on.
Please.
And again, the shift or the transition is not from physical to online or online to physical.
Hmm.
Like it could be any shift. So it's very important that in your plans also, it's not about the technology and the computer and the internet and the software. We will speak about that later. It's about some strategic decisions that you have to take at that moment. So, okay, you have a curriculum, but when you shift to online learning, it's totally different when you are teaching face to face. So the
Absolutely.
teaching methods are different. The learning outcome could be it has to stay the same, but how you will reach to that learning outcome, how you would achieve it, how you would make sure that the student got their success criteria in the right way is the trick and is the problem here. So it's very important that okay, you take your curriculum. Here's my curriculum. Okay, what are the critical areas in this curriculum?
Hmm.
And then focus on that because as we know in school we spend 8 hours at school, but online no student would be able to focus 8 hours in front
Hmm.
of the screen. So you have to make sure that your curriculum also is adaptable, your instruction is adaptable, your assessment is adaptable and transferable. So all of this has to be taken into consideration when you are talking about transformation from one one method of learning to another. So these are very important things that need to be kept in mind. Like I believe in data is very big for me, and I believe a lot in data analysis and data. What data tells a lot of stories.
Absolutely.
So for me, I believe when we are talking in a school with a school leadership team, especially in these days, uh, you have to triangulate three things: the parent, the student, the teacher. These are the corners of your triangle, and the core of it is your curriculum, which is the contract between you and the family. This is
Abs-
our contract.
Absolutely.
This is the contract between us and the students and their families. Okay, so the core of it is the curriculum, and I believe like sometimes the curriculum will go and take one of the corners, and the students, for example, will be the core, and so on. So you have to be very flexible when you are talking about transformations and shifts during crisis or during adverse circumstances.
Absolutely. Mr. Medhat, I want to ask you another question here as well, because obviously I know that many teachers are watching us or will be watching, because the recording will be available on all our channels. So maybe they are coming back to this later on. You did talk about the triangle. You spoke about parents, students, and teachers. When we talk about teachers, they are also facing the same kind of situation. They are also under pressure. They are also worried about their family's safety as well. But at the same time, they do have, um, you know, there are expectations that they are always available for their job online, even though it's from home, even though it is done remotely. But obviously, the pressure is still there. So, how, as a leader, you think um, the school principals, the heads of schools, the senior leadership teams, or the middle leadership teams should actually add comfort to the teachers' jobs during these times?
This is a very good question, and actually, it's in the heart of the crisis itself. Because again, going back to the triangle, if any corner of this triangle is missing, learning is not happening.
Correct.
So you need the student, you need the teacher, you need the support of calm the teachers and make sure that their job is easy. At the same time, you have to calm the students and make sure that their learning is happening. And same of it, you need to assure the parents that the learning is happening, no learning loss, no gaps in the learning. So going back to the teacher, here, for example, yeah, you need to be very compassionate. You have to show them that you're one of them. You're not living in your castle out there in the office and just giving orders. We are all in this together.
Absolutely.
If you are trying to implement something new while you're doing this transition, start small, start with a smaller group, one or two teachers, let them showcase it to others so that they get the buy-in of the whole teaching community to start working. Observe during the first few days of the new shift and see what are the problems that they're having. Here the observations in the classrooms, in the live classrooms, wouldn't be for judgment. I'm there to judge. I'm just to see how can I help. So what can I propose to support and make you grow in this new format of teaching slash learning. So you start small and start piloting. Provide clear models. Show that what would the practice look like. If you go to a class and find, oh, this is an excellent practice, let them share it with the other team members. They will feel valued, and the other team members always would love to learn from them. They like learning from their peers more than from
True.
the administration. Protect their time. Make sure that, okay, guys, we are working from 7 to 2, let us say. After 4 p.m., for example, I'm not expecting you to answer emails.
Mm.
Different than normal school days. Like I know that you've been in front of the screen for 8 hours or 7 hours teaching. You need time for yourself. You need time for your family. So you need to give uh, some simple things that will make the teachers feel okay that we are valid, we are valuable, we are heard, we are actually being taken care of. A small survey every couple of days to check on them. You can send some plus minus data to see what's going well, what's needs improvement. These things will give them the voice or give them the channel to voice their concerns. It could be anonymous so that they feel more comfortable also to say to talk about what is actually they are being faced. And then look at that data, collect this data, analyze it, and then try to support them. And then at this last part of it, start to tracking impact. Let us say, okay, majority of my teachers said, okay, the school uses nearcodes, for example, for a presentation during online learning. But we need the training on nearcode, for example. So from these small surveys and small check-ins, you get to know, okay, I need to have to run a PT on nearcode for the teachers. And when you do it, then at that point you can start collecting data and see the impact of these small things that you are implementing. But to say the biggest point for me is that provide clear models and protect their time because they need family time. They need my I would say the eye time. They need to sit, relax, reflect, and be ready for the next day to teach their kids.
Absolutely. Mr. Medhat, we started with the leaders and how difficult sometimes it could be under these circumstances to take different decisions. We then came to teachers. So, obviously, I'm not going to leave the parents out of it. So, let's talk about parents for a minute. Um, because in moments like this, trust becomes visible. Parents are not just observing outcomes, they are observing leadership as well. What should leaders be communicating right now? What should leaders be communicating strategically? What kind of messages should be actually reaching parents apart from the timetables, the new schedules, and stuff like that? Apart from that, on a softer side, on an emotional side, on the emotional intelligence side, empathy side, what kind of messages the leaders should be sending out?
Me as a parent, I can speak for myself as a parent before being a leader. uh, what I expect from my kid leadership in their school to tell me during these times. I want assurance that my son learning is being intact. receiving the right education. My son is receiving like, again, going back to the curriculum, which is the contract between the parent and the family, that my son is not having a gap in their learning, because at the end of the day, they're moving to a second class, the higher class next year, and I don't want them to go to that class not ready, not prepared, and this will be like a snowball rolling till they graduate and they end at the end with a lot of missing skills. So I need this assurance from the school that, okay, I need to hear from you about the updates of the curriculum. I want to hear what is my son and my daughter are doing in the classes, and also I want to hear how are the school counselors are going to support my kids and support me, because not it wasn't easy for everyone. Some kids or some parents could find it easy, but the others would be struggling, and sometimes they will be struggling in silence. They wouldn't tell you unless you approach them and see what's going on. So very important for me as a parent to hear all of these, and also I would like to know what is the school thinking about the future. What if? Because a lot of the questions now. What if? For example, going back to what we are living now. What if ceasefire didn't work? What if the war extended? What if the world ends tomorrow? They need all of this clarity. So as a parent, I need all this clarity. Now I remove the hat of the parent and I wear the hat of the leader. And now, since I know what is expected from a parent to receive from a school, I know I can now work with my team to make sure that the parents are being heard, the parents are being addressed in the right way, communication is consistent. Sometimes in my school, I would say we over communicate, but we over communicate for the right reasons, so that the whole community is aware about what we are doing. Also, I will give an example from my school, if you don't mind. We created a parents guide for adverse circumstances, how to deal with these kids. Our counselors did like a full guide with animations and with nice stuff, how to calm a kid, how to calm an adult also when they hear the interceptions or the bombing that we were hearing previously. Also, we created a second guide for the parents, how to support them when they are learning online, especially for KGs and the primary school students, where actually we want them to sit in front of the computer and work, how these parents can support their kids, and how the administration is going to support all of that. So this is what the parents want to hear.
True.
And if you succeed to tackle all of these, uh, you will have an excellent outcome of this online learning at the moment, because the parent buy-in is very important. We know a lot of parents are working parents and they have to be to their work. So what can we do as a school to make sure that, okay, they couldn't sit with the
Child.
little one
Yeah.
in the morning, can they support them in the evening? So we need to provide them with resources, with material, so that if they want to teach them or work with them in the evening, whatever happened in the class in the morning is available for them in the evening to work with the kids. So all of this make it as as the best things that we can do for supporting the families at this time.
Absolutely. Obviously, we will not be missing on our students. We will talk about students as well. Um, because while adults are adjusting systems, students are experiencing disruption. And not all of it is academic. What do you think schools should prioritize for students right now? I know we're talking about online learning and that's already happening. It's actually pretty much settled because of COVID. Many of the schools are very comfortable. Actually, majority of the schools, I would say, are very comfortable in offering online classes, and it's a system that we will, it's in the background, and if ever we need, we can easily move into it. But apart from online learning, Mr. Medhat, in your opinion, what should be the school's top priority for students right now?
Top priority, even for have to make sure of take care of their well-being because at the end of the day, if your student or anyone who's working in school is having problems when it comes to well-being, nothing could be accomplished.
Mm.
If students are not feeling safe to be in a class, uh, you can't accomplish anything. If the students don't feel safe sitting in this environment, again, you have issue. You will start having behavioral problems. You start having you try to build when you speak about well-being here, we try to build this positive sense of belonging and connection. Keep this connection because at the end of the day, these kids are locked in their house, in their rooms, seeing their friends who used to see them every day in the breaks and play with them, and have these conversations. They're not having that sense of it currently. So we need to keep working on how we are going to make sure that they are emotionally stable, help manage their stress through our through the counseling team, and increase their sense of belonging, increase the positive relationship with peers. I will give an example also. I keep referring back to what we're doing at the school. These would be good examples for other schools. Is that okay? We don't have usually in the face-to-face or physical school setting we have after-school activities. Currently, we don't have that. So how can we help the kids do activities in the school? We have
Mm.
created a virtual after-school activity program where kids can learn cooking, learn creating some art crafts. So you need to tackle it from many different perspectives.
True.
Start with their well-being, building on the sense of belonging, keeping the sense of positive relationships because we don't want this disconnect between the kids just through the screens. No, we want them to keep talking. Social emotional learning is very important to be implemented in the learning, especially when teachers are dividing the kids into, for example, breakout rooms, working in groups. Keep this sense that okay, we are all together, although we are virtually there, but not there in reality, but actually we are working together. We are a team. We have a common goal to achieve. Plus, you need to lower the load on them.
Mm.
What you expect from a student in a normal school day, you cannot expect it in virtual. As I said earlier, in school you spend 8 hours
Mm.
your teacher here and online. You cannot do that. In
True.
school, sometimes you can spend 30-hour focus on a topic in online after 15, 20 minutes, maybe sometimes 10 minutes, you would lose that concentration or that focus. So, and here where I just said earlier, social emotional learning plays an important role, and emotional intelligence also plays an important role to make sure that these kids are engaged and attracted in your classrooms. This is one. Then making sure that all what you're doing is going to support their long-term mental health. Sorry, in many schools, and I know from many school leaders, like COVID till now is affecting a good number of students. People would say, okay, COVID was like 6 years ago. Yeah, it was 6 years ago, but till now we still having these long-term mental health issues being seen on some of students,
Mm.
and it's worldwide, not only Bahrain. It's a worldwide discussion. So what we are going to do as a school to support that we don't fall into this problem again, and it all goes to the, the teacher when it comes to the learning and social emotional learning, and goes to the counselor when they are working on their well-being and mental health, going back again to the leaders who are actually can work with the teacher to lower the load on the student. I cannot expect the student to spend 4 hours online and then go have a homework for four other hours.
Absolutely. Mm.
This is nonsense, to be honest.
Mm.
So it's very important to make sure that as I am advocating for my time or my time as a teacher,
Mm.
also advocate for my time
Students.
as a child,
Mm.
because if we do this balance between life and work versus life and study, you could accomplish a lot with this.
Mm. Absolutely, absolutely agreed. Mr. Medhat, we have a statement and a question as well. I know some of the pieces of this question that has been asked are already discussed in our podcast, but I would still read it just in case if you would want to approach this statement or this question in a different way. So here we have a statement which says, if school, it's a question really, if schools reopen after a disruption, how can leaders effectively address the vacuum students experience academically, socially, and emotionally, so they do not just return to classrooms but actually re engage in learning and belonging? And this is an extension of what you were just saying, that, from COVID time, we're already still looking at those after effects. We're still trying our students to come out of that vacuum that was created during COVID online learning and stay home, routines. But I think the question is really looking deeper into socially and emotional vacuum that is created. So what I know, we will do whatever we can. For example, as you suggested, there will be some online enrichment activities as well, so children can socially connect. But apart from that, what other ideas, like one or two ideas or one or two tips or tools that you can provide to the parents and the students so they can avoid getting into that vacuum?
So you mean when we come back?
When you come back, yes.
Yeah. Uh, it's very very important to like again going back to where we started at the beginning. Planning is very important. So if you
Mm.
plan right, you get the right outcome at the end of the day. So when schools reopen, it's very important for us not just to focus on the classroom. You need to focus on the activities. You need to focus on building these connections. Maybe you can have a day or an afternoon to have team building activities in the school. You can have a family picnic time, like some school does. You can have like a fun day, fun time after school, or even during the school. You can have an assembly where you sit and discuss the achievements that we and celebrate the achievements that we did through the online learning. And through these assemblies, also you can send your hidden messages to them about belonging and about the country and about how to support each other and how to respect each other. So there's a lot of ideas, and each idea is different depending on the school context, the school resources, what is available and what is not available. We could have a tournament, we could have a sports evening, sports day, just to make sure that everyone is back together. Then you can then we can speak about the classroom, because if you don't do these things, your classroom also will be disconnected.
Mm, true.
I hope I answered the question.
No, you definitely did. And I think this is very important to unpack. Maybe, we can have another session just clearly on pre planning, because pre planning is very, very important, as you just said. And many times it does happen that schools respond and react to a situation at hand, but they don't look ahead of time and they don't see that when these children are going to come back, what's going to happen then? How would they be settling down back in school routines? What could be the possible challenges once they come back? People don't usually talk about it. So you're absolutely right. The planning is the key word here. Now, I'm just going to talk about, I know we talked about decisions in the beginning as well, and we were talking about how pre-planning, communication, are very, very important aspects of good decision making. But my question here is, when something doesn't go as planned, so decision was taken but it didn't go as planned, or it didn't deliver the results that you expected, what defines good leadership at that time? Is it correction or communication? I know you use the word over communication. I want you to actually take that term back into this question and answer of this question and talk about why over communication is so important at such times.
Your question is of two parts. I'm going to start with the first part, talking about what are the decisions that didn't go the way we wanted it, and what could happen. Um, Mistakes always happen. We have to admit that. And if we accept our mistakes and build on them, then this means we are going in the right direction.
Correct.
But when you don't admit your mistakes or your the wrong decisions, here where the problem will happen.
True.
Because at that moment you will start hiding the reality, and at that time you will lose the transparency that and the trust that you have in your community. So if something, let's say we decided to do AEC, but AEC didn't work, and then it's very important to communicate about the results, because again this will prove how transparent you are as a school or as a team or as a leadership team, and then build on those mistakes, I would say glitches in the decision, and try to come up with a better resolution and pilot it again. Because you can say, okay, it failed, I'll stop. No, because all of us in our life have failed somewhere while we were growing and getting to where we are right now. So if we didn't take our mistakes and our wrong decisions and build on them, we wouldn't be where we are at the moment. So it's very important, and this is very important to admit and take ownership of this, and move forward. When it comes to over communication at this time also will give the community the sense of like we care, we are here for you. Yes, we know maybe sometimes we are bothering you with a lot of these messages on WhatsApp groups or by email or by SMS, but at the end of the day, we need to make sure that the whole community receives the message, because some people would read the SMS, others would prefer email,
Hmm.
others would prefer WhatsApp. So it's very important for us to keep these messages going, so that the community feels that we are here with you. We're not there. We're not. The school is not closed. The school is open. We're hearing you. We're checking on you on an indirect way. So it's very important.
So true. Mr. Medhat, we are now hitting the closure of this podcast. Is there anything that I didn't ask you and you really want to share it as a tip for especially for the new leaders, the principals who have just taken their position for the very first time in schools and they are already facing this difficult decision making process, obviously, because these circumstances are not easy. And especially if they were not leaders during COVID, the people who were already leaders in COVID, they have obviously learned many lessons through that experience. So, what could you give them? Just think about one, two, or three tools and tips that you can leave with them. They can obviously use that advice.
Um, Again, from a personal experience, seeing myself during COVID and seeing myself today, I would say the first important advice is to be calm. You have
Mm.
to be calm and show the trust to your team. Don't
Correct.
work alone. Don't work in a silo. I know it's all I can do
But
it,
you
but
do, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but you do understand staying calm is not very easy when people, yes,
yes, yes, you learn it by experience. I know that.
exactly.
Not overreact, okay? Because sometimes overreaction could cause
Bigger
more
damage. Yes.
bigger damage than actually trying to take things in the right direction.
Mhm.
So you need to be
Absolutely
calm.
agreed. 100%.
I have a say that I always say to my team is that we leaders we're like a sponge. You
Mm.
know, we absorb as much as we can, and we keep trying to absorb, so that if your teacher sees that you're calm, if your staff member sees that you are calm and you're confident, this will reflect on them as well. So they will not feel anxious. They will not feel unprepared when they go and run what you are asking them to do. So it's very important not to rush, to be calm, even if your higher admin is asking you to do things quickly.
Mm.
You have to be wise. You have to come and think strategically with your team. Avoid working solo because at the end of the day, when it's a team decision, it is well accepted by the whole community. When you send an email saying the administrative team has decided, it sounds better than saying I have met and I decided all of that. No, it's not me. It's not about me. It's about us as a team.
Absolutely. I
Because
think that's the key
we
takeaway. It should be the key takeaway. Do not work solo. I love that statement. If they could
yeah,
just implement that.
and the last one is make sure when you're planning to have your priorities on top of the list.
Yeah.
These are the priorities for the school. Student, for example, now student well-being, teacher well-being, curriculum implementation of critical areas. These are my priorities, and after that, everything will fall under so that you have a clear plan in mind with your team that you can share transparently with the team, with your staff, and with the families and with the students as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Medhat. I thank you one more time. And obviously, I want to ensure that this is not the last conversation we are having. This is the very first one we are having. And inshallah, many more conversations to come. So we can all learn from your wisdom and your experience. You've been in this position and in this school. Bahrain Bayan School is very lucky to have you. And we are very lucky to have you on this podcast today. So thank you so much for all your knowledge and your wisdom. I'm sure that people who are just resuming their positions for the very first time as leaders, school leaders, especially educational leaders in under these circumstances, they would benefit from this conversation and they'll keep coming back to this. So that's why we are leaving this recording available for all of you on our YouTube, on our LinkedIn, and on our TikTok channel for some time. TikTok channel is not going to be for longer. It's just going to be there for another other hour or so. But it's going to stay on YouTube, so you can go back and listen to this conversation and try to pick the points that are working in your favor. So thank you so much, Mr. Medhat, one more time for being here with us this evening. And thank you to all our audience. I know I just saw some comments. There are beautiful comments that are popping in. Thank you so much for writing and engaging in this conversation because that's how we like it. So we will see you next Tuesday, inshallah, with another guest, another educational leader who is placed internationally or locally in Bahrain. We would definitely bring forward the wisdom that we all absolutely want to learn from. You know what I'm taking from this conversation in particular? It's very simple. Leadership is not about being prepared for everything, it is about how you respond when you are not prepared. It is about clarity, it's when others feel uncertain, and presence when others are looking for direction. Not perfection. That's not the time for perfection. It's the direction that is actually required. So, Mr. Mehta, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Sahar. Thank you. It was my pleasure to be with you today. And also, anyone from the community who would like to have more discussion, please feel free to share my contact with them so that I'm really available to support as much as I can.
Absolutely. And that is beautiful. We are community builders in Bahrain. We are sitting here, and this is an educational community that we are talking about. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to move forward. Leave a comment on our social media channels. We'll certainly take it forward to Mr. Medhat or anyone who has been appearing on our podcast because we are here for you. And it doesn't cost anything. Okay. So, and to everyone listening, if you are leading right now in any capacity, you don't need to have all the answers, but you do need to show up with clarity and intention. This was Unboxed with SG, where leadership isn't explained, it is revealed. I'll see you in the next episode, inshallah, next Tuesday with another guest. Thank you so much, everyone. Keep safe. Good night. Take care.